goose liver, duck breast, sauces, cheeses. This is a proper French diet, and yet French arteries hardly ever stiffen and clog. Was this due to some fierce exercise ethic? Blissfully, it was not.
The intake of wine per capita in France is higher than anywhere else in the world. So the answer to the riddle, the explanation of the paradox, may lie in this inviting glass.
Wine merchants everywhere have been toasting Morley ever since. And why? Ask the man from Barringer's Winery in California, Tor Kenward.
The response was unbelievable. The red wine sales went nuts.
In the year after that report, American red wine consumption went up by 21 million gallons. No wonder the industry was crying, salute. Just remember the research says a moderate amount may be good for you. Still, this man's story may be most people's favorite demonstration of 60 Minutes power.
I've received no justice. No justice at all.
11 years ago, Linnell Jeter was sentenced to life for robbing a Kentucky Fried Chicken store in Texas.
How did it all happen? Could Linnell Jeter have been a successful engineer who went out to rob fast food restaurants on his lunch hour, or coffee breaks, or after work? Did you say to Lieutenant Fortenberry that...
When Morley investigated, the case fell apart.
Did he talk to Deborah Cotton?
Well, I don't know who he talked to.
You mean you didn't go out there in advance of the trial?
No.
You now know what Linnell Jeter looks like.
Oh,
You've seen
exactly.
it. Is that the man who held up the Kentucky Fried Chicken? Was that the man who held up the Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Yes, sir.
Within days of that report, Linnell Jeter was set free.
When I saw people gravitating towards my case, I realized how powerful a 60 Minutes can be on the life of an individual.
After 60 Minutes won his freedom, Linnell Jeter went home to South Carolina, where he's a salesman living comfortably.
When I was entrapped in the system, I didn't look to the judicial system to clear me because it had failed me. I looked to other sources like 60 Minutes, local media, the NAACP, and all of these institutions came to my rescue. But 60 Minutes did it all with one picture that said 1,000 words.
Today, he's married to his college sweetheart and has 2 young daughters. Some stories do have happy endings.
It is an entirely new class of luxury automobile, created to a higher standard. So responsive, its advanced V8 Northstar system makes passing and merging virtually effortless. And so spacious, it accommodates 6 passengers in complete comfort. It is a combination of qualities you've never seen before. Yet a single drive will make you wonder why you ever settled for less. Introducing the all-new DeVille Concours by Cadillac, creating a higher standard.
What if some things cost less than expected? A diamond ring for $50. A nice little place for $200 a month. Playoff tickets, $5. Well, here's one thing that costs less than you'd expect. A Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus oil change. Try it for a change.
In all our lives, every moment counts. From the makers of Ghost comes the most extraordinary love story of the year. My Life, rated PG-13, at theaters now.
Lasers. Satellites. Cellular data networks. What exactly have we launched here? UPS Total Track. The only tracking system that can confirm delivery of your air and designated ground packages coast to coast in seconds.
This package was signed for at 9:26 this morning by Mr.
The arms race may be over, but the package race is just heating up.
There's a perfect wine for every occasion. This afternoon, John has chosen a Chardonnay from the cellars of Ernest and Julio Gallo, 2 men who spent over half a century perfecting their art. What could be more perfect? Well, almost perfect. The Chardonnay of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
Your little Elliot drive John up the wall?
I'm sorry, son, but you can't keep it.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's the safest luxury car on the road. All new Heart to Fire. Dan, is the nanny about to become a high society snob?
What a lovely artifact. Is it mine?
No, it's his
teasing.
All new Nanny after Heart to Fire Wednesday.
For nearly 20 years now, almost every 60 Minutes has ended here in the office of Andy Rooney. He is a former producer for the program and a much-honored writer. And you can't tell any of that by looking at him.
Don't look up to par today, Andy. Sand, lots of sand.
Some people in TV worry all the time about their dignity.
Hi, I'm Harold, your waiter. What would we like this evening?
Fortunately, Andy doesn't.
You put the cloth over your head, then you hold it on with this thing called an egal. I never knew why this stayed on, but it seems to.
Dear President Bush.
He used to write for others until he finally found just the right voice for his words. His own.
I don't know anything offhand that mystifies Americans more than the cotton they put in pill bottles.
He has spent many Sunday evenings since teasing the pompous and the powerful.
Taking a pill out?
Which two of these 5 men are not running for president?
He's unafraid to tackle even America's best-loved institutions.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Morley Safer.
I'm Harry Reasoner.
I'm Ed Bradley.
I'm Steve Croft.
I'm Meredith Vieira. Those stories in Mr. Wonderful tonight on 60 Minutes.
Here he is, Mr. Wonderful.
If you've watched 60 Minutes over the years, you certainly understand that some of the stories are hard for the correspondents to do. It's likely you don't understand what all the problems are. A simple thing like getting ready to tape can be a problem. All sorts of things go wrong. It can be something as simple as a fly.
Tampa, Florida. I'm sorry. Okay.
Or hair. The correspondents don't like it when one hair on their pretty heads is out of place.
And so
They want to look just perfect.
And joke. Oh, I see. This.
Can I?
They can't stand messy hair on anyone.
You are not going to know me for 2 minutes.
Leslie's had some tough assignments. On one occasion, she went undercover to become a brunette for a few hours.
Is it anybody you've ever seen before?
And half the time when they're ready, some exhibitionist is behind them trying to get into the act.
No, don't do that. We're taking a picture.
Of what?
We're taking a picture of me.
And that isn't the end of it either. There are always people who don't want you to take their pictures at all.
What do you mean by taking anything in this complex? We're taking a picture of me, and that's in the background. That's quite right.
Mike's an old hand at dealing with imitation cops who work for a company that doesn't want him to take pictures of their factory.
Over there, I wouldn't have to get it authorized. This is a free country, Captain.
And then the biggest problem of all. When everything else is right and the correspondent's ready to go, he or she gets halfway through and forgets what it is he wants to say.
Oh, come on. Keep going. Keep it rolling. Get out of the way, will you please, kid?
In the course of a year, the correspondents talk to a lot of people. And some of them, of course, are scared stiff about being interviewed by 60 Minutes. Even when they get someone to sit down for an interview, it isn't always easy to get answers.
When you confessed,
Yeah?
did they tell you what to say?
Did they?
Tell you what to say. When you confessed, did they tell you what to say?
Well, I'm...
When you confessed, did they...
No. My mother was not there.
No, not your mother. When you confessed,
Yeah.
did they tell you what you should say?
Was my mother?
No.
And then sometimes the words just don't come out right.
You say no sexual in the end. You say no sexual in the... Sorry.
Innuendo.
Please. You say no sexual innuendo,
See
no.
that you're not familiar with that.
No.
Sometimes the correspondents haven't been able to resist getting into the act themselves. Ed dance.
Boom, boom, diddly, what's
Leslie dance.
good? Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
Steve always throws himself into his work. In this case, a river. Fortunately, my hair's never out of place.
Yeah, Mike probably has his own hairdresser come with him when he goes someplace.
They go like this. When it comes to taping my pieces, nothing goes wrong.
Tell him no autograph, will you? I don't want to...
You keep the crowds back, and I'll do the piece.
25 years of 60 Minutes adds up to 1,300 hours of great reporting, moving interviews, and some lovely personal journalism. We at CBS are very proud of what these people have done, and all of them, Mike and Morley, Ed, Leslie, and Steve, and Andy Rooney, all of them, and all of the producers, the editors, the researchers, the directors, and the lawyers, the photographers, the sound recordists, and the assistants, all of them, and Don Hewitt, will be back next week with another edition of 60 Minutes.
Do you love this country enough, Maestro, to respond to a request for you to play something that you haven't played? You know what I'm going to ask you?
Yes, I know, because they ask me all the time.
The Stars and Stripes Forever.
Stick around.
They're right.
About 17 or 18.
Serious business. PTA
He's Ronald Reagan. Oh, Chase.
Stubborn.
Please tell me, Steve.
To be able to down.
You want to talk about sex?
Thanks a lot.
It sells, Mike.
You know, it's so insane. It better not happen on Desert Shield.
For a transcript, send $10 to Burrell's Transcripts, Box 7, Livingston, New Jersey, 07039. Or call 1-800-777-TEXT. To order a video cassette, call 1-800-848-3256.